Netflix narrates a documentary titled Tinder Swindler, which centers around a man named Simon Lviv, who scammed people of over $10 million. It was quite an interesting story to watch. However, a good percentage of other interesting facts about the story were left out. We will unlock them in this video, so keep watching. Tinder Swindler is a story centered around three women who shared the same of being swindled huge amounts of money by one Simon Lviv guy. Simon Lviv used the same scamming strategy to scam Pernilla Sjöholm, Cecilia Fjellhoy, and Aileen Charlotte. The first step of this strategy is to slowly develop a relationship with them for some months, to gain their trust and keep them emotionally safe with him. During this period, he would flaunt his wealth to them to fit the status of a billionaire's son that he has portrayed himself to be on his profile. The money he flaunts is gotten from the past people he has swindled before intending to deceive ladies and getting the most out of them financially. After securing their trust emotionally, he would then pretend to escape from an accident by sending them pictures of an injury from his supposed bodyguard. He would lie that some of his enemies are against him and are on the lookout to track him down and steal all his credit cards. Because of the bond he has built with these women, they would pity him and willingly send him a large amount of money. Some other times, he would urge them to open new credit card accounts in their name, so as to keep himself safe from these supposed enemies. He would always promise to pay them back, but he ends up not fulfilling the promise of paying back. The Netflix documentary made some conclusions about the story. Pernilla Sjöholm, Cecilia Fjellhoy, and Aileen Charlotte collaborated with the police to plan his arrest. Unfortunately, he was only charged for a particular fraud case that was charged against him years ago in Israel, before he met these women, instead of the scam cases that these innocent women brought up against him. Tinder Swindler accurately narrates the stories of these women and all other conditions attached to them, but some of the important details were still left out. The Netflix documentary has mentioned a lot of things about the story, but some important story highlights were left out. Here are some of the biggest points that were left out of the documentary narration. Simon had a Tinder account, but he was inactive. Netflix's documentary on Tinder Swindler made us believe Simon has resumed using his Tinder app since after his release. However, the company stated that they do not believe that he is still active on the app. Tinder made a statement to make the public aware that there is no internal investigation that can point out that Simon is still active on his Tinder account. It is, however, possible that he opened a new account on Tinder using another name and identity and still has the intention of sending innocent women. Perhaps he switched from Tinder to another dating app. Presently, there's no way to find out whether Simon has stopped these dubious acts of his, except if other women come up with stories similar to that of the female victims he swindled before his arrest. Nonetheless, with the publicity that was made during his case, this might be hard as many ladies would take precautions to avoid being victims. Simon's first crime was stealing checks while babysitting. Simon was publicly disgraced because of his huge scam case of swindling large amounts of naira. However, his first crime was stealing checks while babysitting. The Netflix series documentary confirms Simon was born with the name Shimon Yehuda Hyatt, with his father being the chief rabbi of El Al Airlines. While growing up, he was known for all his thievery cases, but his first recorded crime was when he was 20 years old. He took up babysitting a 4-year-old child for a family, and it was while he was at it he stole checks from this family. Even though this crime was only briefly mentioned along with his other theft cases while he was charged to court for the crime, he commuted during his arrest for the 3 women cases along with other people who shared their experience with Simon. However, it was indeed a big case at the time he committed at 20 years old. Around this period as well, Simon was caught again because he stole a check from his employer while he was working as a handy person. He had also cajoled another classmate of his to invest in a business that doesn't exist while stealing from him as well. Unfortunately, this Netflix documentary explained little about these events from Simon's childhood at all. Tinder Swindler's focus was on Cecilia, Pernilla, and Aileen, hence leaving the viewers in the dark as regards to his childhood and what could have led Simon to commit bigger crimes. The COVID-19 pandemic was part of the reason for his early release. The Tinder Swindler documentary on Netflix states Simon was sentenced to 15 months imprisonment, but he was released after he served only 5 months of his jail term. Netflix outlined that the main reason for his release was based on good behavior. This might be partially true, but there is more to this story. Even if he was released based on good behavior, the COVID-19 pandemic was another reason that could be attributed to his early release. If it wasn't for the COVID-19 pandemic, Simon may have served his entire 15 months jail term sentence. He wasn't the only one who enjoyed this benefit. Most inmates around the world enjoyed this too, especially the inmates that were serving jail terms in overcrowded prisons. This is to avoid the spread of this virus, as overcrowding is one major factor that hastens its spread. Most prison cells released those that they felt had low immune systems, and those that displayed good behavior to curb the spread of this virus. The Tinder Swindler documentary centered around 3 women, Pernilla Sjöholm, Cecilia Fjellhoy, and Aileen Charlotte, who were swindled by the same man using the same strategy. Unfortunately, the documentary only based its story on these 3 women, only while there were other couples of women that were affected too. One justification that the filmmakers gave was that they spoke with other women who were scammed as well, but they preferred not to say it on camera for various reasons that were best known to them. This was one major reason most of the women weren't featured in the documentary. A woman who spoke under a pseudonym in the podcast revealed Simon had told her she had to look the part, while always criticizing her appearance. Another victim of Simon with the same name, Courtney, said in a podcast with the filmmakers that she quit her job to partner in business with Simon, since he told her he was a pilot in training to an airline company. When Simon was arrested, Courtney was arrested alongside him based on using fraudulent credit cards. However, she was later acquitted. According to her, the incidents happened a long time ago, only for her to see Simon appearing in an article as the Tinder Swindler. No doubt this documentary has left some people speechless, while some were caught in tears. It is indeed one of Netflix's best documentaries of our time. However, there are some important and interesting facts about the documentary that Netflix left out that we would love you to know about. These are stated earlier, and we hope you found them surprising, enlightening, and shocking as we did. With this, we have come to the end of today's video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification button so that you can be alerted without stress when we upload new content. If you found this video interesting, like the video and drop a comment below with your thoughts about this Netflix documentary. See you in the next video, and sure you check out this video chosen for you. See you there.